South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action.
When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, Triple Sevens, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
Good morning. Welcome in. It is Sports by the Book here at the South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White, Kenny White. Alex, welcome back.
Thank you.
Good,
Happy to be back.
Better. We got a lot to get to today. Excuse me. See, I'm already choked up here this morning after another collapse by the Boston Celtics. Choked up in the best way possible. All right, let's Let's go to baseball out of the gate. We got a bunch of games that are starting right out of the chute here, so we want to get those before they start. And let's begin in Minneapolis today. It will be the Baltimore Orioles, who continue to stink up the joint, now down to 13-22 to begin the season. Twins have taken the first two of this series. Here, look to sweep out the Orioles here this early afternoon at 12:10 local start in Minneapolis. Bailey Ober, Dean Kramer, your pitching matchup here, Alex. Minus 60 on Minnesota, total 8.5.
Of all pitchers to be going, I don't feel very good about Kramer here trying to avoid the sweep for the Orioles. But instead of betting on the Orioles, I would look to the Twins team total. 4.5 here at the South Point. You're getting even money with that because I do lean to the game being over, but I would try and highlight the Twins there. Don't know if they get it done. 3 in a row is tough to do in any sport, but I mean, looking at Kramer's numbers, gave up 5 to the Tigers, 5 to the Nationals. He is coming off one of his best starts against Kansas City, but I just think the way that he has pitched this year, Bailey Ober kind of the same on the other side, but I do trust him more in this spot. I do think he is a better big league pitcher. So Twins team total over would be the bet for me.
You know, I made the total 8.5, so Alex, I can understand how you think that, but as a person who likes unders, the Baltimore Orioles offense is struggling. And most of the year, and I really like Bailey Ober. I had him the first day of the season where he got knocked out in the third inning, gave up 8 runs, and he has an ERA 3.72 after giving up 8 runs in that game, and that's because he's only allowed 1 earned run in 5 of his last 6 starts. This guy's got really good stuff. So I think with a struggling lineup, I'm going to go the opposite direction. Kind of the same though. That I'm rooting for the Twins. I bet them yesterday, and I'm gonna fade the Orioles here and go under their team total because I think Uber's going to Uber whatever his name is. Looking at his game logs, I feel like I'm looking at a dog racing form of a dog that wins every race first, because that's all there is ones in the ERA column.
I know I've been destroying the Orioles for this really bad start. At some point, there's too much talent on this team to look this bad. I'm staying off of it though, because this is just a team that is totally lost right now. If they lose this game and then go to Anaheim and then lose two out of 3, I'm not sure Brandon Hyde's the manager on Tuesday. I'm not sure there's anyone on that staff that makes sense. I'm surprised he stuck around after last year, after the postseason collapse for the second consecutive year. But this start is awful. It just looks like a team with no direction, with all that talent, especially offensively. They should not be this bad, especially in the American League. That is really not any good to begin with, as we've talked about most of the year.
And Jeff, this is how bad it is for the Baltimore Orioles. They're 29th in run differential.
Yeah.
Worse than the White Sox.
Yeah, so it's not only just like the record stinks, but as you said, it's not like they've gotten unlucky.
Yeah.
They've gotten destroyed in every way possible. Only Colorado worse,
right.
Which Colorado could be at the basement the entire year, more likely than not. Even though, hey, they got that game to extra innings last night against the Detroit Tigers, but Tigers go on and win 8-6 and get your run line home, Alex, which was a fortunate win. But hey, you take the good luck when you get it, for sure. All right, let's go to Boston. Another early start time, 1:35 local time at the Fens. Rubber match for this one. Rangers took Tuesday. Sox took yesterday. Minus 55 on Brian Bayo here today at home. Jack Leiter goes for Texas. Minus 55 on Boston, plus 40 on the Rangers. Total of 9 here, Alex.
I bet against Jake Leiter last week, and it worked out well for me. I would be looking at the Red Sox here. I liked it better at minus 130, though. Clearly, the bettors like that side as well, all the way up to minus 155. Here, I don't really think there's any value, but I do think the Rangers were pretty fortunate and had Eovaldi on the mound for Game 1 to get that win and gave him plenty of run support in that one. But I think Bayo's the better pitcher here. I would only be trying to bet the Red Sox, but minus 155 again. Not much value there, so I'm going to pass on it.
This is I think, a really good pitching matchup. These are two really good pitchers, got really good stuff. Jack Leiter, former first rounder, second pick in the 2021 draft out of Vanderbilt. He's had his ups and downs, and really not. I shouldn't say that. He's only had one bad. You beat him against Seattle.
Yep.
That's his only bad start out of his 4 starts so far. So, I looking at the weather in Boston, not the greatest of weather today. Like Bayo, and he's pitched well out of the gate. Rangers offense has struggled a little bit versus right-handed pitching, and they've struggled over the last 7 days, a 75 weighted runs created over that time. So I'm going to go under here in this one, even though it's a day game. It's still 60 degrees, wind blowing in from right field, but really not going to affect play. It's just there's no way they're going to be able to help the hitters in this one.
For Leiter, of course, like you said, early first-round pick, top 3 pick out of Vandy. His dad, Al, obviously was a great pitcher for a very long time. Across nearly 2 full decades in the majors. It'll be interesting to see if we get the consistency from Jack. That's really what I'm looking for. With a guy with that sort of arm, that sort of talent, put together 7 out of 8 high-end starts, put together 8 out of 10. We haven't seen that yet. Again, still super, super young, only in year 2 in the majors. All right, we go to Kansas City next. Royals looking for the 4-game sweep over the White Sox. The Royals, again, so quietly after a really bad week where they got bombarded in New York and they struggled to score runs at home again, or on the road at Detroit, where they went 1-6. Since then, they've only lost twice. So they're on a great stretch here. Got it to 22-16. Playing the American League's worst. Bubic and Martin, minus 240 for KC to wrap up a 4-game sweep at home here with a total of 8.5.
Not that impressed with these wins, though, right? I mean, just 9 runs in their last 3 games. They just, good. They held the White Sox to 4 runs in those 3 games. So if there was a pitcher that I would want to back for the White Sox to try to avoid this sweep, I think Davis Martin is a pretty good one here. Has not served up a home run in 3 straight outings. His numbers are pretty good here. I really think the best play is to go with the under. I mean, we've had 3 straight unders between these 3, and I think this one has the making of it too, especially with the Bubic on the other side. So, yeah, looking at their median earned runs, Martin is half a run, and then Chris Bubic is just 1 on the other side. So under first 5, I think, is the way to go here.
Yeah, Davis, interesting that his best game this year was in relief. Came in relief in West Sacramento against the Athletics. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs. But you're right, his other starts, he's had some good starts. He's a young guy, 28. Young in baseball terms. He just doesn't have a lot of big league innings. 28's pretty good, I guess average big league age for a starting pitcher, but doesn't have a lot of innings in the major. So he is a little inconsistent, but I've seen enough out of him where I think he can keep this game down. The weather again in Kansas City, wind's going to be blowing in from center field 10 to 15 miles an hour today. So that could hold up a couple of balls hit into the air. Martin doesn't give up a lot of fly balls in the first place, so he's a ground ball pitcher. Bubic's been great. You mentioned Martin's median over, his start of the season. And that's not even counting that 6-inning no-run game against the A's because I only use starts. But Bubic, 6 innings, 4.5 hits, 1 earned run in all of his starts so far this year. So I feel like this is a really good first 5 under. I worry about the Sox bullpen late. But I do like the game under, but I like the first 5 under better.
I'm okay going under at everything here. Like you said, Alex, Royals offense, even though they're more likely than not going to sweep this 4-game series, it's been the pitching that has held down the White Sox, and the reason for this. Now, granted, over the weekend in Baltimore, it was a little more of offensively forward, that 8 month's worth of homers on Sunday for Kansas City. But look,
that ball was flying.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was the most solo home runs in a major league game ever on Sunday between the Royals and the Orioles. So again, we'll see how it all plays out here with the Royals. I'm not buying them long term, but hey, on a good stretch at the moment. We go to Anaheim next. The Angels, we're looking for good vibes from the Angels after a really awful stretch. And the good vibes have shown up the last two nights. 2 epic comebacks late, 3 in the bottom of the ninth to walk off Toronto last night 5-4. They look to sweep the series here tonight with arguably the best starter in Soriano on the mound. Toronto's best starter so far this year, Chris Bassett, goes for them. -30 on the Jays, 8.5 the total in this one, Kenny.
Yeah, I'm going to go under in this one as well because Bassett has pitched really well. Soriano has kind of had his ups and downs a little bit, but I think this guy's got good stuff and bounce back here. His xFIP over the last 3 games, 3.27. So shows he's been a little unlucky. And you mentioned Bassett, his median line so far this year, 5 2/3 innings, 5.5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. He's attacking hitters. He's going after them. So I'm going to go under here in this game. And again, whether or not the greatest, the ball's not going to carry tonight in Southern California.
I like the Blue Jays side a lot. I think that's a good price here, -130 for them to try to avoid the sweep here. Soriano is coming off of one of his best starts against the Tigers, 0 earned runs in that one, just 6 hits over 6 innings pitched. So really, really good start. But I think Bassett, he's had a couple rough ones, saw some good offenses with Houston and the Yankees. I think he'll have a good game here in this one. I think that's a good price, -130, especially adding in a little bit to avoid the sweep against the Angels. Angels were pretty fortunate in their first 2 wins, too. Fortunate and, gritty, did not give up, right, and come from behind wins there. But I think it's a good spot for Toronto.
I would go first 5. Wouldn't even mess around with the Toronto bullpen that has gotten shelled back-to-back times out. -20, 10 cents better. I think I just look first 5 on Bassett. Get a good quality start out of Bassett to lead the first 5-3-1, something in that pocket would make a whole lot of sense to me. All right, let's go to Denver. Double dip. There's not too much to be said about the second game yet because we'll get to that. Let's start with the first game because we know what's happening there. Casey Mize, Kyle Freeland. Tigers won in extras last night, 8-6. -65 on Detroit, +50 on the Rockies. Total of 10. Look, my rule for day baseball in Colorado is very simple. Unless if we have true aces on the mound, and unless if the weather is just totally horrible, which it's not in this game, I like over. And I know Mize has pitched better. I know Freeland is technically the number 1 guy in Colorado. Colorado doesn't have a number 1 guy, let's face it. But I would lean to the over 10, especially with how Detroit's offense is just really taking it to another level the last 8 days.
They really are, and they're really good against lefties, too. So I don't even really worry about them against Freeland here. They're 5th OPS in the league against lefties. So for me, I like Casey Mize. I would trust him here. Had him against the Orioles and pitched a really good one there. 5 1/3, just 1 earned run on 8 hits, 5 strikeouts, no walks in that one. So, I would probably just go right back to it here. Tigers run line.
Yeah, love it, Alex. Casey Mize has been really good. I don't use win-loss record, but I know when I played and when I coached, there was always that guy that when you rolled him out there, the rest of the team had so much confidence that they were going to win that he was going to give them a good chance. And I think Casey Mize right now is that guy for Detroit at 5-1 on the year. His numbers look great. 2.7 ERA, 1.09 WHIP. The last 3 starts, hitters are hitting just 253 against him. He's been really good, really good. Freeland, ace of the staff, but right now, at this stage of his career, average big league pitcher at best. And this Detroit offense, as I mentioned to Jeff yesterday, why I bet Detroit on the run line. They're the number 1 offense over the last 7 days, and Colorado was the number 30 offense over the last 7 days. So big difference there. Now, they're not number 30 today. Tampa moved below them after getting shut out yesterday by the Phillies. They've had a worse week than the Rockies have had, but man, I think you just got to keep betting the streak, betting against and fading the Rockies, especially against teams like Detroit that know they need to get it done against these weak teams.
It does stink that we aren't getting a plus price here with that run line. So yesterday it was -105 on the run line. Today a little bit more, -115. But you're right, Mize would be that guy if he didn't have 2 really good pitchers in front of him too.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
1, 2, 3. Now
I think Detroit feels like we roll out anybody, Skubal and Mize and I can't think of the third guy. Job's pitched well, but it's not the third guy.
No, Jack Flaherty.
Flaherty, yeah, the way Flaherty's pitched. Yeah, no doubt that Detroit's, that organization has put together some good players. They got experience in the playoffs last year and made some noise, and they might be a good bet to win it all this year with that rotation if they stay healthy.
I will say this with the Tigers, and we kind of talked about this earlier in the week where the Mariners have gone on this little spurt as well. We're on kind of the course here where, at least to me, the top three teams in each division are kind of making themselves, or not kind of, they are making themselves known right now in the American League. The standings as we have right behind us. The three current first place teams right now, to me, I think have pushed themselves away from the rest of the AL. Now, that's Seattle, Detroit, and the Yankees. The Yankees still have their flaws, of course. I'm still concerned about their starting pitching long term. Devin Williams has to get his act together. There are a few concerns on that end. Mariners, as we know, will the hitting hold up? That's always been a concern. But this Detroit team, it's kind of amazing that the Tigers are so well-rounded. Like they got hot at the end of last year. They were sellers at the deadline.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything expected of them. I wonder if the Tigers just seeing, again, they're down to 5-1 to win the pennant. If you can find some bigger numbers than that, you might not have much more time in order to get a better number on Detroit to come out of the AL at the moment. By the way, real quick, Ryan, did you see the news out of Vatican? An American Pope from Chicago.
Bobby?
How about that? Chicago Cardinal Robert Prevost named the first American Pope in history. The exchanges had that one wrong. Let's just say that here this morning.
I think he was like 50-1.
I think he might have been even longer by the time that the white smoke came out this morning. Because I know in the exchanges there was some really short numbers on I forget which Italian cardinal it was, but yes, an American Pope for the first time. All right, after the detour to religion, we'll come back to sports here. The second game, really not that much to be had here. We don't know who's throwing for Detroit yet. Gordon looks to get the start for the Rockies in a likely more short outing. It's 11. It's minus 175 on the Tigers. I just want to see who's pitching for Detroit, but I'll probably be on the over in this game as well, more likely than not, even at an 11, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, I really have nothing. I believe you saw Montero would potentially be pitching that one if you wanted to handicap off of that. But yeah, I'd just go stick with the first and see for the second. And to your point, Jeff, even Mize, looking at his numbers, he has given up a few long balls as of late, so could get some runs both sides.
Yeah, Tanner Gordon, below average big league pitcher, pitched had 8 starts, I believe, last year in the big leagues, and this will be his first start this year. Was down at AAA to start the season. Not a good spot for him. Not in this ballpark with Detroit the way they're swinging it. Detroit wins game 1. I'm probably going to back Detroit in game 2. I'm either way, probably. No matter what Detroit, this is probably just a Detroit parlay, game 1 to game 2. The way they're playing right now and the way the Rockies are playing, just fade Colorado.
I do want to ask you, looking at that American League, with Ryan had those odds up, but I saw the Rangers was a pretty good price, maybe 9-1 there. With an organization like that, and then you also have Bruce Bochy, and then they fired some of their hitting staff to try and help out and get their offense going again. Is that a team that you could bet on with those kind of odds? I mean, right now the Astros, Athletics, and Seattle all ahead of them, but do we expect the Astros and the Athletics to be there? Will it just come down to them and the Mariners?
Texas got talent.
Texas is still the one where if they get their act together, Bochy, Hall of Fame manager, Evaldi's pitching like a legitimate number 1. DeGrom has pitched significantly better over the last few starts as well. They won the title 2 years ago. I think that 2023 World Series has kind of been lost in the ether a little bit because that was almost the World Series of if a tree falls in the forest, does anyone hear it? Or does it make a sound, I should say. But that's kind of what that series was, except for Rangers and Diamondback fans and backers at that point.
Right.
We'll see. All right. We'll keep going with these games today. Luzardo and Pepio. Jesus Luzardo's been awesome for the Phillies in his first few starts in Philadelphia. He's a minus 145 favorite tonight in Tampa for this one. Final game of this series. Phillies looking for a 3-game sweep at Steinbrenner Field here, Alex.
And this is the one I got like notes and ways I want to play certain games. I skipped this one, so I'm going to send it to you. But I mean, I clearly like the Phillies side, and we talked about it. Shut out the Rays yesterday 7-0. They won the first one with Wheeler on the mound 8-4. But now what do we do here? Are we going to give the Rays some kind of hope here to try to avoid the sweep, or just, and the embarrassment factor being shut out? Or is this a very cheap, good price on the Phillies here with Luzardo, who has been awesome, and he's a lefty, and the Rays have struggled against lefties?
They have, and then they've struggled over the last 7 days against anybody, as I mentioned earlier. 193 batting average, 254 slugging, and a 52 weighted runs created over the last 7 days. Coming off a shutout, you expect teams to be a little bit more focused the next day, but man, it doesn't get much easier. Sanchez yesterday and Luzardo today. Jesus 1.94 ERA, 2.91 WHIP over his last 3 starts. His median start, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. That's what he's going to give you, and I think that's what he gets today. Pepio's been good, so I think this could be a, I worry about, again, I don't like betting this park under because it is warm in Florida right now, and I've been leaning to the over in the last couple of days. The pitching has just been so good. I haven't bet over, but check that. I do like the Phillies. I think even first 5 innings, minus a half a run even, could be a nice bet for betting Philadelphia today.
Wind out, by the way, today. Wind out. Not strong, but it is blowing out the center at Steinbrenner Field. I'd only bet the Phillies again. It's just one of those where there's no home field for Tampa. In a year where home field has meant a ton, it has not meant anything for Tampa. They've been as bad as anyone other than the true utter bottom feeders in baseball at home. So I would look to Philly, and as good as Pepio has been solid, pitching advantage again for the Phillies for the 3rd consecutive day. And I don't think the pricing has been right on any of these 3 games for the Phillies and the Rays.
So we know the Phillies have had problems in the bullpen.
Yes.
So take the bullpen out of it. And like I said,
what do we have on that?
Maybe just betting the Phillies in the first 5 innings and splitting your bet between a money line bet on the Phillies and a minus half, and, trying to get them to win by a run or more in the first 5.
So that was minus 40. And also that strategy has worked in both of the first 2 games as well. Splitting it up between the first 5 and the full game would be 4-0 through those first 2 games.
And you're right. Hitting conditions very good. 85 degrees there tonight as well. Ball's really going to carry there.
All right, we go to the 2 NL games here. We start in Atlanta. Braves and Reds wrap up a 4-game series. And Hunter Green and the Reds finally got on the board in this series yesterday, a 4-3 win for Cincinnati. Now, the final game is Schwellenbach and Lodolo. Good pitching matchup. Braves minus 90, total of 8 in this one.
Really good pitching matchup here between these two. I would lean to the Reds tying up this series. I like that they got the win yesterday, even though Green did leave a little bit earlier than expected. I believe it was groin. But I like both pitchers. I really do. I think Schwellenbach has been really good here for the Braves, but I'd look more at the Braves against lefties with Lodolo on the mound, and they are 22nd OPS. So lean to the Reds here at that plus price.
Both these guys really good pitchers. They both have really good stuff. Schwellenbach has shown tremendous control and command of his pitches, attacking hitters, 1.11 whip on the season. But Lodolo's whip's even better, 1.04. He doesn't get as many strikeouts as Schwellenbach, but he's tough to hit. His stuff he's got great movement on his pitches, and it's hard to barrel him up. Schwellenbach, a lot of ground balls. This is just a classic, another classic pitchers matchup. So my total higher because this is good hitters ballpark, and we do have 2 really good hitting teams. But, man, I can't ignore these 2 pitchers. I may look at a first 5 under here.
First 5 under in this game. Can you get the 4.5? No, no. You can get 4 plus 105 though, so at least getting a price on that if you want to look on that scenario.
I may pass that. My numbers, Jeff, are telling me I should be betting the Reds here today, and I don't mind taking Lodolo plus $1.70 if the line has gone up that high.
Yeah, you're there, plus 170.
Yeah.
There's some offshore 75s, but yeah, you can get a good price on Lodolo here in this one. All right, we go to Arizona next. Final baseball game on the card for us to break down. Dodgers and Diamondbacks. Yamamoto and Fott, your pitching matchup. D-backs lose 2 out of 3 to New York. Dodgers coming back west for their first matchup with Arizona this year after a 10-1 shellacking of the Marlins yesterday to win that series. Minus 50 on LA, plus 35 on Arizona. Total of 9 at Chase Field here tonight.
I like under first 5 here. 4.5 is even money between these two. Now, I know Fott didn't have the best outing in Philadelphia, but I think that one was more just going back there first time since playoffs. So I like him to have a bounce back spot here. Yamamoto has been awesome. I was also looking at some of their prop bets because you can go under earned runs and get a plus price under 2.5 if you think that Fott can hold the Dodgers down there, or even Yamamoto under 1.5 plus 125. But really, he's only given up 2 one time this entire year. So he's been outstanding. Both of these offenses, very good. First and second OPS against righties. So it's not going to be easy, but I think both pitchers will have good days here.
Man, Yamamoto, what a pickup. This guy is just tremendous. His numbers are ridiculous of how good he has pitched this year. And Arizona hasn't seen him. He went on the road to Philadelphia. 6 innings, no earned runs. He went on the road to Texas. 7 innings, no earned runs. He went on the road to Atlanta. 6 innings, no earned runs. I mean, those are 3 really good offensive baseball teams at home, and they couldn't sniff against this guy. So Arizona's got a really good lineup. That really hurts me because the roof will be open tonight. The ball carries better, but if you can't hit it, doesn't matter. This guy's a great ground ball pitcher, one of the best in baseball. Such good movement on his pitches. I really want to bet the first 5 under. I think
4.5.
Yeah, they got Arizona's pitcher Fadad. I always say, pronounce it one more time, Jeff.
Brendan Fott, yeah.
Fott's got to step up. Yamamoto, wow, the numbers are just ridiculous. So I'm going to go under first 5 with him.
All right, we will take our first break. When we get back, trivia question will be in the bottom. NBA and NHL, only 1 basketball game tonight, 2 hockey games, as the road teams have been dominant in round 2 of both the Stanley Cup playoffs and the NBA playoffs. We'll discuss it next. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Welcome back in at Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White, Kenny White, we're all here. If you're with us, we thank you for being with us here this morning. Alex, chat active as always.
Very active here. Good morning, everyone. Attila, Dean Hilt, Roger Long is back, had a few questions for us. And talking about the O's, he said maybe they just played over their head last year. This is who they are, and we've kind of talked about that. Scott, welcome in. Not Sean said Twins are up 1-0 against Baltimore right now. So thank you, everybody. And then there was a question for us about UFL and somebody Dean Hilt was looking at tomorrow's game, DC Defenders in San Antonio. But
yeah, I can't help you there, Dean. Sorry, no, I just haven't done the work on that league this year.
Yeah, that's sorry, Dean.
No time.
That's the best we can do on that. Real quick on the Orioles. it's just hard. Like 2 years ago, the Orioles won over 100 games. They won over 100 games and they got swept out. Last year, 96 wins, swept out. I don't know if it's regression to the mean. I don't know if this is what they are. I just don't know. Like the mental, like there's something going on that's just more than baseball with that team right now. You can't put your finger on it. And that's why I said what I said earlier. I think if they lose today and then lose the series in Anaheim, I don't think Brandon Hyde should be the manager of that team. I know baseball managers are only responsible for a few things in game, but clubhouse wise means everything. Yeah. You might just need a fresh breath of air at that point in Baltimore with this Orioles squad. All right, let's go to hockey first here of the playoff double here in hockey in the NBA. I have thoughts on the Celtic Knicks game from last night. I'll hold that for a little bit. Last night, by the way, so you'll enjoy this, guys. Home teams so far entering action tonight in round 2 of the NHL and NBA playoffs. Home teams are a hearty 3-9. The Toronto Maple Leafs are responsible for 66% of those 3 wins, as we all expected through the early portions of round 2, that the Leafs would be up 2-0 and no one else can win at home other than Oklahoma City, who won by 1 billion last night. But again, behind Wall, kind of played out over game. Leafs get a goal after Florida tied it up at 3, got a goal less than a minute after and held on for dear life. And you know what? Credit to the Leafs here, who hasn't matters who's in net. It feels different for a team that has always found a way to lose over the last 50 plus years. They're finding ways to win right now in this postseason so far.
And they've got to be feeling pretty good, because I thought it was a little sloppy on their side. I thought the Panthers played very good, and for them to come out with that win, I mean, you need those games. So I don't think this is even close to over. I mean, I will have to find our spots on the Panthers and might be coming right back where they go home, but they're a tough team. I mean, definitely one of the most physical in the league, but Toronto is definitely holding their own with hits and block shots. So I like what I'm seeing, but we'll see the Panthers come back a little bit here.
Yeah, I think so. They might maybe a look ahead to playing them at home down 0-2. They did look amazing against Tampa, who I think maybe is a better team than Toronto. But see, it's, that's why we play the game, because anything could happen.
Well, I'll go back to what I said at the beginning of this postseason. You never know when a team that's gone this deep, we've gone insanely deep in the postseason, back-to-back years, Cup final the last 2 years, won it last year, lost it the year before. You don't know when you're going to run out of gas. And I don't think this is a running out of gas thing last night. I thought Florida actually outplayed Toronto for the majority of the game, but the Leafs found a way, and credit to Toronto for doing that. By the way, you can get a nice plus 170, 65 price on Florida now to win this series if you want to take a shot on the Panthers, the defending Cup champions, to get out of a 2-0 hole.
Jeff, that's a great point with these teams that do win it, of how far they go and how long their season is. It's overextended, especially the NBA and NHL. The playoffs just go so long that when the season starts, these guys are like, man, we just finished. So it's really tough. Like, I just made the case for the Celtics that, they won it last year. And I'm thinking, teams that won it, there's a target on their back. It's, you don't have as much motivation as you had the year before, and you already won one, and everything's got to go right. And it's hard to get everything to go right every day. So, but your point of that's even a better point, that these teams that do win it or even lose it have played such a long season. It takes a lot out of you, and the next year is that much more difficult, because you know what you're getting into. So it's good to fade some of those teams. And maybe you're right. Tampa, Florida got their first series because it was Tampa. They're playing on adrenaline, and now maybe it's going to catch up to them here against Toronto.
That's part of the reason I picked the Leafs to win the Cup going into the tournament, just again. And also, Florida dispatched of Tampa a lot easier than I think anyone would have dreamed of. And again, it's hard to say emotional letdown in the postseason, but it's possible in play. With Toronto, again, plus 185 actually on the Panthers here at the South Point. If you want them to come back, game 3 tomorrow. We'll break it down in full on the show tomorrow. And then Mikko Rantanen And Randon guy's pretty good at this hockey thing, right, guys?
Yeah.
After the historic third period against Colorado in Game 7, hat trick in the second period last night. All 5 goals in that game scored in the second period. A 3-2 win for Dallas as they take Game 1 behind Randon's dominance. Ottinger played well as well. I played a great game in net for Dallas. Hellebuck, I thought was actually okay. It was totally fine last night. What are you going to do? Great player, made a great play. And Mikko Rantanen is now taking over the Conn Smythe market, which is not much of a shock here in this one. And the Stars, who were a betting favorite going into the series, are now even bigger favorite right now. A minus 330 favorite here at the South Point to win this series. Plus 270 on the Jets. Not a bad price if you think Winnipeg can get out of the 1-0 hole.
And looking at yesterday's game, I was going to come in here and say, prisoner of the moment. Dallas had to come back. Rantanen had a hat trick. Like, we can't expect that every game. And then he does it again, a natural hat trick at that yesterday against Winnipeg. But I thought Winnipeg looked pretty good too. I think this is going to be a pretty tight series, and I like what I saw from Hellebuck. So looking probably betting them again at home in Game 2.
Yeah, really have to trust the numbers. We know they had a great season. They got one of the best goaltenders in the NHL, and the public and odds makers have seen something in Dallas they really like, though, and have really moved those numbers. I mean, that was a really ridiculous number, I thought, yesterday in that game. It didn't turn out to be, but it's going to be a ridiculous number in this next game as well. So I've got to go right back on Winnipeg. Can't give up on them now.
Yeah, I would agree on that. Kenny, you're not here tomorrow with us. Even money, plus 105 out there Winnipeg actually favored here in Game 2. I had it backwards on my sheet. Minus 14 is the best price in the market on Winnipeg. You like that for tomorrow?
Yeah, I do. I think they have to bounce back. So, yes, I guess not as much money coming in on that. Must have been something to do with when those series has ended, I'm guessing. But, yeah. Must-win situation for the Jets here.
Well, go ahead, Alex.
Sorry, and I know you talked about Scheifele, and he did end up playing, but it was an unknown and big piece of Winnipeg. Of course, him and Kyle Connor. But Dallas, we know they are getting healthier, too.
Yeah. Robertson was in last night. Scheifele scored a goal for Winnipeg and looked like himself.
Yeah.
So, again, both sides getting stronger as you go along, which honestly makes it interesting, whoever comes out of this against the other side. By the way, Conn Smythe odds, if it's a little bit confusing to you at home, we'll explain this is what we have moving forward. The odds up there are DraftKings, unless if there is an asterisk next to them, because the FanDuel numbers are better. So if you want Mikko Rantanen, if you think Dallas is going to steamroll to the cup and Rantanen is going to continue this run, you can get Rantanen at 6-1. I would be very cautious on that, though, because you can get a similar number on Dallas to just win the cup without even Rantanen. So
very good point.
I would be surprised if we saw a losing cup finalist win the Conn Smythe last year with McDavid. I would be surprised if we saw that again back-to-back years. So just throwing that out there. For looking at the Eastern Conference guys, even though I have the Leafs, I would probably look to the Carolina guys who seemingly have the easiest path at the current moment. All right. We'll keep looking at this throughout the whole postseason. Conn Smythe and NBA Finals MVP. To tonight, Carolina is a minus 165 favorite in Washington here tonight. We were all on the Caps in Game 1. Tight game, overtime winner for the Canes. I'm going to go back to the well tonight. I'm going to look for the best price, which there is some plus 150 out in the market on Washington. Sure, could they be overmatched? Yeah, it's in play. But that game was even enough. And if Thompson plays at that level again, I would anticipate Washington can even this series at 1. I like the Caps tonight at a nice plus price at home.
I'm excited to talk about this because the storyline, and I heard it from multiple people and everywhere, was just how much the Canes outshot the Capitals. And one big piece that people are missing is this is how both of these teams play. Carolina is all volume. They were number 1 all year in shots on goal. They were also 22nd in shooting percentage. On the flip side, the Caps were number 1 in shooting percentage and 22nd in shots on goal. So they're accurate, right? And they take the shots that they need to. Now, does that mean this is going to work against this matchup? Not necessarily. I think they need to try and shoot more and find their opportunities. But that is how Carolina plays. They like a lot of volume. So I wasn't that concerned with that first loss. I mean, it was tough for the Caps because it did have to go to overtime and they had the lead most of that game. But I love them coming right back here at home, plus 145, can make the adjustments, can stick to their game plan, though, and their identity. And with Logan Thompson playing that well, I mean, if he can handle that many and have those saves. So Caps for me, definitely today.
Yeah, I was on the Caps in game one. Must win here in game two. They've had a great year at home. I still think they have a very good team. There's some betting group out there that disagrees. Somebody loves Carolina laying 30, 40, and $1.50. You know, maybe some followers after that, but wow. There's been a lot of money bet on the Hurricanes. The books will definitely be rooting for the Caps, I'm sure, tonight. All the parlays will probably come on the Hurricanes because they're such a high favorite. You mentioned that shots on goal, that, you know, it amazes me because I know a lot of people talk about this as a team that doesn't really have any stars. Shots on goal is an amazing thing because if you hit the post, that's not a shot on goal.
Right.
That just amazes me. I mean, the goal is that post is part of the goal, but it's not a shot on goal. It's got to be between those two pipes, and there's something to that this team can get off that many shots. They could have great passers and set each other up for some really quality shots. I know one thing, it's a numbers game, and the more shots you get, the better chance you're going to get a goal. So that scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
Carolina, the current betting favorites, along with Dallas to win the Cup at plus 350 behind us here at the South Point and other Gone Gaming properties. Again, Carolina, if you're just going off the betting numbers, seemingly have the easiest path to the final. I don't agree with that, but that's how the numbers seemingly all play out. Again, Caps now the long shot on the board at 16-1. All right, game two just down the road from us. Knights, Oilers. Oilers took game one 4-2. We got a 6.5 again here tonight, guys, on the total. Vegas minus 35, plus 15 on the Oilers. Series price, Edmonton is minus 210. Vegas is plus 180. It kind of feels like this is a gotta-have-it game for the Knights here tonight. If they lose, I would not be surprised if this series doesn't even return here to Vegas. As good as the Knights are, Edmonton's home ice at home is strong, as we saw in the last round and we saw throughout all last postseason. But I do like the Knights here tonight to bounce back. Just need a consistent 60. They did not play a consistent 60 in game one, and that's the main reason they lost the game, Alex.
I am a little concerned with when it comes to these two now, with looking at the Oilers' 28 shots to the Knights' 17, because the Knights are a team that was fourth in shots on goal throughout the season, and Edmonton second right there with Carolina. So the Oilers, we know this team. I mean, they've got all the star power when they can get hot, and I mean, they are putting their lines out there, and then all of a sudden you see Draisaitl and McDavid on the same line, and they're really dominating and in their ozone for a majority of the time, which does scare me here. But Pickard in net again for the Oilers. I think that the Knights can definitely capitalize and find some opportunity. Just have to see some more urgency. Like you said, I mean, second period on, it was really all Oilers, so we got to see them in there for 60 full minutes.
Yeah, they need to keep attacking against a team like Edmonton. You just can't stop. No lead is safe, I don't think, against that team because they're so good offensively with Draisaitl, McDavid, and company. So they got to rely on the defense, but they got to keep pushing. And again, I think these two teams are very equal in talent, and that at being at home, must-win situation. I think the Knights get there tonight. I'll be laying the price with the Vegas Golden Knights.
I do want to look if Alex Pietrangelo is back today. Missed the first game because of illness, and he is a main piece of their blue line. So I would like him to be playing tonight to really feel confident about making that bet.
Yeah, also possible that Dorotiev is also in as well for Vegas. So would be better, obviously. Pietrangelo was a surprise scratch late because of that illness. And again, that illness has been flying around town here. No, it got you yesterday, Alex, but it has definitely been flying around here in the Vegas Valley. All right. Anything else on hockey, Kenny? Because you won't be with us tomorrow. Is there anything else that we need to look at, whether it's something tomorrow or anything else you may be looking at in the Stanley Cup playoffs until you're back with us next Tuesday?
Yeah, Winnipeg, I'm going to back them tomorrow. That's, the only thing I can give you tomorrow. The Florida Panther price is so high. Bet that game over yesterday. I might be over again there in Florida and Toronto, especially Walt goalie. And we don't know. I don't know. Stolarz may return. I'm not sure.
I heard he may not even travel.
Oh, okay.
So he'll be missing the next two.
Yeah,
So-
I based off of what was said yesterday, I would be shocked if we see Stolarz again until Game 5 at the earliest.
I mean, a concussion so bad he's throwing up behind the bench.
Yeah, it's usually not a good sign for coming back anytime soon. But as we talked about, and Alex, you mentioned this earlier in the week, Kenny and I talked about it yesterday, like, it's not a huge drop, if it is a drop at all, from Stolarz to Wall. By the way, also, I was with going through things, I didn't realize Matt Murray was still in the NHL, who's now the current backup for Walls. So, again, not too much of a difference. That's crazy. Minus 220 on Florida tomorrow. You
got to lay the puck line and hope they get out to a big lead. But I think it could be. I think the over may be a better bet because you get two really good offensive teams.
Yeah, and both games have gone flying over so far in this series. So I'm with you. It would be only a look to the over. Again, Alex and I will break it fully down tomorrow. All right, to the NBA before the whiteboards and such come up here on the show today. Going to last night first, I'm not even going to waste anyone's time. Oklahoma City just ran Denver out of the building. Not surprising. It's still, to me, a shock that OKC choked away Game 1. I still expect the Thunder to win this series. It's going to take even a little more effort than it needed to take now. Denver, by the way, Jokic fouled out in the third quarter. It was also nice to see Scott Foster also make an impact right away. Sorry, Scott. OKC's a 5-point favorite. That game's tomorrow night. Total, by the way, Kenny, I just want to bring this up. The total tomorrow night is 234, which for an NBA playoff game is pretty crazy. Regardless, even though, again, you would anticipate both of these games have gone over 240 with ease through the first two games. Not much of a shock, even though it is a short turnaround to elevation for both of these teams.
Well, yesterday, you get a 255 game. That's the biggest reason why you've got to make the adjustment. The pace, 104 possessions per team. So Denver, a better scoring team at home. There's just so many positive and check marks for the over in the game tomorrow that puts me right back on it. I was over last night. Loved halftime score. I couldn't believe when I saw 87-56. I thought that was the end of the third quarter. When I first saw it and I saw 56 after 3 quarters, I can't believe it. Then I saw, it's halftime. What? Halftime? 87 at half? Yeah, Oklahoma City did not miss. They do have a great basketball team. They are my highest rated team. I think they're the most talented team in the NBA, and they showed it last night. They needed the win, and they got it.
Plus 130 now to win it all.
Win it all. Look at that. They're huge favorites, yeah.
Honestly, it's still not a bad price on OKC. And you know what, Brian, throw that up there, actually. And this is even with Boston keep in mind, this is with Boston and Cleveland both being down 0-2 right now. Actually, Ryan, don't bother throwing it up there. I see it as well. The Celtics are 4-1 now. Cleveland's 8-1, and they're both down 0-2 in their respective series. Speaking of Boston, real quick, I just want to throw this out there real quick on this series, where the Celtics are down 0-2, and they've led both games by 20, and they've lost both games. And I just want to say for the Knicks, who have no one gave them any chance. We brought this up last week. I was surprised that Boston was only a minus 800 favorite. I thought they should have been closer to somewhere in the pocket of minus 12, minus 13. Not quite what they were against Orlando, obviously, but the Knicks had shown no ability to beat them during the regular season. They showed no ability to beat high-end teams in the regular season, which makes what has happened in these first two games even more stunning than they already are, where you have a Knicks team. And also, look, both of these games went under. I know you got the push, Kenny. You got there on game 1. But yesterday was a dead under. And I know there's a lot of excuse making going on for the Celtics, just not making shots. Well, you know what? It's the NBA playoffs. You can't score 17 points in the fourth quarter and expect to win a game. You can't be blowing 20-point leads back-to-back at home against a team you're better than. And look, credit the Knicks, credit Jalen Brunson, credit Mikal Bridges, who did nothing for 3 quarters last night, scored 14 points and made 2 gigantic defensive plays, including the one that put the game away last night. If you're making me pick between the top two seeds in the East that are down 0-2 to come back, I'd much rather have Boston because of the way these 2 games have played. But, boy, I don't have a ton of confidence right now, even at a coin flip in the Celtics coming back, because that is a mental gut punch to blow both games leading by 20. I don't know. Again, Knicks have a 2-0 lead. No one, and I mean no one, expected this.
Well, and now they're going back to New York, right? And you can't really take away that home court that they're going to have there. I mean, that place is going to be electric. But the Celtics might have come into the series kind of thinking like you, like this team can't beat us in the regular season. We're going to kind of breeze through this series. And so on the other side, 5.5 seems like a pretty low number here to lay with the Celtics in a desperation.
It's the reverse of what we normally see, right? Usually it's the home team that gets spiked in game 3 down 0-2. This is the road team getting spiked down 0-2. Celtics, by the way, 4.5 first half at books that have it open already, 5.5 full game. So another one of those, as we've always talked about, where people love betting that first half down 0-2, especially at home. But this is a road team, with the road team being the better team scenario.
Might be a first quarter bet, Jeff. This is why with sports betting, there's a process and you have to manage your money well. This was my best bet of the night, and it had no chance. I win everything else. 5-1 on the whiteboard yesterday. This was the only game. But if you said to me, you can only pick one game to bet all your money on tomorrow or today, that would have been the game. I would have forget the other 5 games. I'm going to put it all on Boston over because they can't shoot like they did the first game. Well, yeah, they can. They shot worse. They shot 42% this game, effective field goal percentage. So the pace was there. Even at halftime, when I saw the score, I went and looked. There was 100 possessions in the first half. They were running up and down the court. They just can't make a shot. You know, pressure does set in. When you're the champ and you're trying to win it for a second time, this series, I think, is going to go 7. I really do. I think it's going to go 7. I think the Knicks will get one at home, but it's going to go 7, and it's going to come back to the Boston Garden. And I don't think they blow the 20-point lead in Game 7. I think they're just too good. Porzingis has not been Porzingis, what we've seen in the past. And maybe that's the problem, that they don't have the depth. When you look at their bench, Cornette and Porzingis are coming off the bench with Pritchard, and that's it. So they are not as deep as they were last year. That could be a problem. Not as balanced as well offensively. They've really just turned into a chuck and duck 3-point shooting team. Last year, they were a great 3-point shooting team a year ago. They just no balance right now with the Celtics, and it's stunning. It really is stunning to see this. I didn't think the Knicks had a chance to win this series, and they have a chance to if they win Saturday night. That Garden on Monday is going to be bonkers, with a chance to sweep out the defending champions, and especially a franchise that Knicks fans despise, to say the very least, and a city that New Yorkers mostly despise, and Boston as well. All right, to tonight, though. Let's go to Minneapolis. No Steph Curry. We knew this already. Curry's not going to play. There's hope he could play in Game 3. We'll see. That's a quick turnaround for Game 3 on Saturday night in San Francisco. But for tonight in Minneapolis, T-Wolves are 10.5. 201.5 is the total. We've talked about it. T-Wolves, horrific woes from three-point range the last 2 games, even with that Game 5 closeout win against the Lakers. Alex, I'm going to stay off of this. The only thing I'd look to is the under, but I'm just concerned we've gotten too low here now at 201.5.
I'll let him speak on the total there. I'm leaning to taking those points there with the Warriors. I mean, we've seen this from Jimmy Butler multiple times, right, in the playoffs here, and now he's just with another team. And I think maybe the fallen star theory here, which I know he missed half of the game, but now starting, I like what I've seen from Buddy and Butler, and I like how this team is playing. They're having fun. 10.5 feels like a lot of points. I don't have to necessarily win this one, but I think they could keep it close.
Buddy Hield called himself Alfred Like he was the third guy in the pecking order. I don't know why I went there. Because it just surprised me.
Because that's what Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry decided.
Doesn't he know Draymond Green is way better than he is? Does he not know that Draymond?
Well,
he's Draymond's servant. Draymond doesn't come behind Buddy Hield. There's no possible chance. If we had a draft today, all 30 NBA teams and said, who do you want, Draymond Green or Buddy Hield? It's 30-0. Everybody takes Draymond Green. So I just wanted to say that I kind of felt that surprising, because I played with people like that, like, oh, different hero every night when they are the hero. It's like, hey, I was the hero, and just that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit with Buddy Hield. But I'm on the dog again. I was on the Warriors in game 1. I hope the fallen hero thing comes up. Curry's worth 4 points. I made the adjustment. I make the game 6.5. I should add 2.5 though for that must win for Minnesota and make it 9 and stay off the side, because I do love the total. Minnesota plays great defense at home, and without Curry in the lineup, it is going to make it more difficult. They play at a slow pace. The Warriors are not going to play fast. They're going to slow this down. I could see 85 possessions in this game here tonight, and no chance of overtime because the Timberwolves have a 10-point lead. So maybe my best bet might be Warriors team total under tonight.
That would make a lot of sense to me. I'm staying away completely. Like I said, the under would be the only look, but I'll just say this with Minnesota. For the T-Wolves, they were a top 6 shooting 3-point team in the regular season. They were a really good shooting team. And it has been really bad for the last 2 games. And this is also would be an argument for Boston as well, who's been awful shooting the ball. I mean, Boston's 20. Boston so far in this series against the Knicks. I just need to make sure that I got my notes right. Yeah, they're right now 25 of 100 in that series against the Knicks from 3. 25 of 100. So you expect at some point for teams that shoot the ball well from 3 to regress positively. And for Minnesota, you would anticipate that tonight. I think that's part of, actually, I think Kenny's bet is probably the best bet on the board. Minnesota could score 115 tonight. Golden State could easily score 85. That is very much in play. And then all of a sudden you gotta sweat to the finish line on the regular total, but no sweat on the Golden State total under. So I'm with Kenny, actually. I think that is the best play of the night from this game.
Warriors 95.5.
Yeah, definitely then. I was thinking that it could even be in the low 90s. So yeah, 95.5.
Like it.
100% on that team total under for Golden State. All right, we'll take a short break. Trivia, answer, and whiteboards when we get back to wrap it up on a Thursday. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action. When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book. We're going to wrap things up. The whiteboards will be up in moments. But first, we got our trivia question of the day. Here you go. All right. So we know the Orioles, of course, they are now in Camden Yards, but they opened at Memorial Stadium when they moved from St. Louis. They were the St. Louis Browns, moved to Baltimore, and now the Orioles, of course. So the trivia question today was, which Oriole was the only player to hit a home run completely out of Memorial Stadium? And quite frankly, there was only, realistically speaking...
What team?
Which Oriole was the only player to hit a home run completely out of old Memorial Stadium, so pre-Camden Yards days? Only two names that really came to mind.
I got one name.
Go ahead.
Frank Howard.
You got the first name right. Frank Robinson is
really?
the answer.
Wow.
Of course, 541-foot homer. Yeah. One of the best to ever do it. And they actually left the flag up. They left the flag of where the ball landed that day. And then they moved it over to Camden Yard. Knicks end zone on the board for the month of May. So JR finally defeated, maybe because JR is not with us here today. But Knicks on the board. Yeah. So there you go with Frank Robinson for that one. All right, whiteboards. Ryan, you can go ahead. Play the little lead in here, and we will begin on a Thursday with the one and only Alex White.
Okay, there's a couple I had to leave off the board. So I did like the Blue Jays to avoid the sweep -130, but I'm not going to lay a price there with them. And I lean to the Reds to even up that series +170. But here are my four best plays of the day. White Sox and Royals under 4.5. That is starting very soon, I believe. Is even money. I'm going back with the Tigers and Mize on the mound. Tigers -1.5. -115 in that first game. Dodgers and Diamondbacks under 4.5, even money. Yamamoto and Brandon Pfaadt. And then NHL going back to the Capitals to even up the series at home here, +145.
Starting with Major League Baseball, just pulling up the Blue Jays to get this first 5 inning. I'm going to go with Chris Bassett and the Blue Jays to win the first 5. And it's not a final yet, but it will be. Where are we at? Toronto, -$1.20. Good price on the Blue Jays in the first 5 innings. Detroit Tigers today, game 1 only, minus the 1.5, -$1.15. NHL, the Golden Knights, even the series up tonight, -$1.35. And the Golden State Warriors team total under 95.5.
There you go. I'm going to be simpatico with Kenny on the Golden State Warrior under 95.5. Caps as well would be a lean for me. And then that Chris Bassett first 5. So Kenny and I on two of the same ones here tonight.
I do have the Blue Jays too. I forgot about that first 5. We did talk about that.
First five -20 I think is the way to go. Yeah. That one. Don't even bother with the mess of a Blue Jay bullpen, which has gotten bombarded back-to-back days in Anaheim. All right. That's what we got for you here on a Thursday. Alex and I are back tomorrow. Vinny Maliulo will be on set for the last 20 minutes or so. Kenny, we'll see you again on Tuesday. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
So we'll see you all again right here on the channel. Make sure you're hitting subscribe so you can chat along all of our content. Shout out to the crew as always, Ryan, Jerry, Vince remote today, Sean, Drew Dog, and Ann. Gone Racing's coming your way later today as well on the Gone Racing channel. Where are they this weekend? They are NASCAR is in Kansas. Okay, Kansas Motor Speedway. They're in Kansas City, Kansas. So there you go for that. Jeff Motley, Brennan Gahn, getting yourselves ready for the Advent Health 400 and more on Gone Racing coming your way later today. See you again tomorrow, everyone. This has been Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.